Hello and welcome to our daily bulletin. Following are the headlines.
Key officials study 12-party Congress resolution. National Committee on Climate Change takes place in Hanoi. Festival highlights worship of mother goddesses.
Key party officials from ministries, central agencies, organizations and provinces and cities are gathering at a conference in Hanoi to study the resolution and documents issued by the 12th National Party Congress. In his speech, Party General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng stressed that the 12th National Party Congress documents are the crystallization of intelligence of all officials, party members and people. The documents contain many new points which demonstrate the development in the party's theoretical thinking on politics, economics, culture, society, security, defense, foreign affairs, party building and political system. According to the party leader, the documents clarify the party's consistent viewpoints, the most essential issues of Vietnam's revolution, the principles of the party's operation, as well as set out specific missions, new and urgent issues arising from reality.
The important thing at the moment is to put the resolution into practice to ensure the effective implementation of the resolution. We need to fully understand and implement the resolution, considering it an extensive political drive of special importance in order to create changes in awareness and forge unity in both will and action among the party, the people and the army, especially among key officials at all levels and sectors.
The study of the resolution must contribute to strengthening the party politically and ideologically, stopping and curbing the degradation in political ideology and morality, as well as signs of self-evolution within the party, correcting misguided perception and effectively countering wrong and hostile viewpoints. The party leader required delegates to carefully study each of the 6 key missions defined at the 12th Congress and relate them to requirements and specific conditions in their own locality, agency and organization with a view to execute those missions effectively during the 2016-2021 term. During the 2-day conference, delegates hear reports on a range of issues such as the fundamental contents of the political report adopted at the 12th National Party Congress, the party building work, and the performance of socio-economic development tasks in 2011-2016 period, and socio-economic orientations for 2016-2020. President Trần Đại Quang met with Russian Ambassador Konstantin Vnukov and Japanese Ambassador Fukada Hiroshi in Hanoi on April 19.
Meeting with Russian Ambassador Konstantin Vnukov, President Quang said developing relations with Russia is always one of Vietnam's top priorities in its foreign policy. The Vietnamese government and people always keep in mind Russia's assistance in the past struggle for national liberation and the present national construction and development. He said the two countries should strengthen ties in politics, economics and defense security, with focus on energy and nuclear power. Ambassador Konstantin Vnukov said Russia attaches importance to enhancing comprehensive strategic partnership with Vietnam, which is one of Russia's priorities in Asia-Pacific. He also said Russian Parliament is ready to ratify the Vietnam-Eurasia Economic Union Free Trade Agreement. He expressed his wish that other signatories will approve the pact as soon as possible so that it can take effect later this year. During his meeting with Japanese Ambassador Fukada Hiroshi, President Quang expressed his condolences to Japan for the devastating loss of life and property to the recent earthquake in Kumamoto Prefecture. The president also stated that he believes Japan will soon overcome this calamity. He affirmed that Vietnam always values its strategic partnership with Japan and considers the East Asian nation one of its leading partners. President Quang proposed Japan further assist Vietnam in dealing with climate change. particularly with drought and saltwater intrusion in the Central Highlands and southern provinces. He expressed his hope that Japan will voice its support for Vietnam regarding the East Sea issues. Ambassador Hiroshi said Japan supports the standpoint of not resolving disputes unilaterally. Furthermore, Japan will soon begin its survey and deliver solutions to help Vietnam deal with climate change issues.
Communication work plays the leading role in climate change responses as public awareness of this issue still remains inappropriate. Prime Minister Nguyễn Xuân Phúc made the remarks during the 7th session of the National Committee on Climate Change in Hanoi on April 19.
Prime Minister Phúc, who is also the committee's chairman, called for comprehensive and long-term solutions to the problem, which he said should also center on specific areas and based on scientific foundations. He urged ministries, agencies and localities to pay heed to revamping their units in charge of climate change combat and completing their policy and law systems in order to mobilize and diversify resources for the hard struggle. He said another important job is to restructure the economy, focusing on projects on developing green growth and cutting greenhouse gas emissions. Climate change is a big issue which has been defined as one of the government's central and long-term tasks. The fight against climate change is facing a range of challenges as extreme weather patterns are developing complicatedly and unexpectedly, requiring macro solutions. The committee's report added an array of hindrances, including limited finance and shortcomings in integrating climate change into planning strategies.
Thailand became the biggest supplier of automobiles for Vietnam in the first quarter of 2016, with over 7,800 units, up 64.5% over the same period last year.
For the first time ever, Vietnam has imported more cars from Thailand than the Republic of Korea and China, thanks to preferential tax policies as regulated in the ASEAN Trade in Goods Agreement. Lower price is another factor that facilitates the import of automobiles from Thailand into the Vietnamese market. According to the Ministry of Finance, from 2016, intra-ASEAN auto import tax has been reduced from 50% to 40% and will stay at 30% in 2017 and 0% in 2018. It is expected that cars imported from other ASEAN member countries such as Thailand and Indonesia will see strong increases thanks to the preferential tax treatment.
The Bank for Foreign Trade of Vietnam, or Vietcombank, will increase its chartered capital to over $1.78 billion. The information was released at the bank's recent general shareholders meeting.
Accordingly, the added capital of $4.1 billion was from the issuance of 933 million bonus shares for the existing shareholders of the bank. After raising its chartered capital, the bank will offer foreign investors about 360 million shares or 10% stake, which will be taken from its two biggest shareholders, namely the state and Mizuho Bank of Japan. Thus, the state would reduce its stake from the bank from 77% to 70%, and Mizuho Bank's stake would fall from 15% to 13%. By the end of 2015, the total assets of the bank had reached $30.33 billion, up 16.9% compared to the beginning of the year. Even before increasing capital, the bank already was the largest bank in terms of chartered capital in Vietnam, with $1.19 billion. However, Vietcombank said it aims at not only to be the number one bank in Vietnam, but also to be placed in the top 300 financial banks with the best management in the world by 2020.
After keeping costs low for so long, shellfish prices shot up recently, yielding higher profits for farmers. More details coming up next. Processors buy the fish for 22,000 Vietnam dong to 22,500 Vietnam dong per kilogram, an increase of 4,000 Vietnam dong since early March. This allows farmers to earn profits of 2,000 to 3,000 Vietnam dong per kilogram. The Mekong River Delta has more than 6,000 hectares of trout fish farming, mainly in the provinces of Đồng Tháp, Bến Tre, An Giang, and Tiền Giang. With prices below break-even levels, many farmers incurred big losses and stopped raising the fish. The remaining farms belong mostly to companies and farmers that have contracts with enterprises. Thus, the price hikes only benefit a modest number of independent farmers. According to the Vietnam Association of Seafood Exporters and Producers, shellfish exports in the first 2 months of 2016 raked in $237.3 million, a year-on-year increase of 5.6%. The US and EU were key markets, accounting for 40.5% of the exports. In the third lunar month every year, people gather at temples to worship mother goddesses to pray for luck and happiness. A festival has been held in Mẫu Temple in the northern province of Hưng Yên to honor the tradition.
The Mẫu Temple Festival was organized since the 13th century in Hưng Yên province to commemorate the death of Sư Quý Phi, who had been extolled as Mẫu Nghi Thiên Hạ, literally a woman whose virtue makes her the mother of the nation. The worship of the mother goddess is the folk belief with a long history in Vietnam. Today, this belief is widely practiced throughout Vietnam and in Vietnamese community overseas. Worship of the mother goddess addresses the concern of daily life and desires for good health and good fortune. Vietnam has submitted its dossier to the UN to seek recognition of the worship of mother goddess as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity. It will map out a master plan for the organization and management of the ritual to be submitted to the government for the approval.
The Central Highlands province of Lâm Đồng attracted 1.32 million tourists in the first quarter of 2016, an increase of 10.9% from the same period last year.
According to the Provincial Department of Culture, Sports and Tourism, revenue from tourism services was estimated at $100 million. In March alone, the province welcomed 450,000 visitors, including 22,000 foreigners. The increase was due to a number of cultural activities held in the province in the period, including Lunar New Year celebrations and Flower Festival in Đà Lạt City. To attract more holidaymakers in the upcoming summer, the province will focus on diversifying tourism services and improving their quality. Lâm Đồng province is also well known for its Lang Biang Natural Reserve, which is listed among UNESCO Biosphere Reserves. The Lang Biang Reserve covers an area of 275,439 hectares to the north of Lâm Đồng, with its core area encompassing Bi Đúc Núi Bà National Park. As a national center for biodiversity conservation, the core area is home to more than 2,000 flora species and nearly 400 fauna species, of which 153 species are named in Vietnam's Red Data Book and 154 are included on the Red List of the International Union for Conservation of Nature.
That has come to the end of our program. Thank you for joining us, and see you next time.